The Earnestly Speaking podcast is a show that is founded on free-flowing conversation and may at times venture into mature subjects. Listener discretion is advised.
Earnestly Podcast coming to you here on a Thursday, and that's September 24th, 2020. How you guys doing? Kind of a weird day today. Felt a little stressed. Felt good early to start the day out. Then I felt stressed out and out of it, and now I feel okay now. Got to get to sleep early tonight. Able to relax a little bit, do a little podcast for you tonight. This one might be a little bit of a longer one than usual. I mean, it's not only me today. On the back end of the show, we're going to have our old friend GW Gras on here as we preview this weekend's WWE Clash of Champions pay-per-view, which will take place this Sunday at the Thunderdome in Orlando, Florida, at the Amway Center. We'll discuss that, the entire card and all the storylines going through there. Of course, this podcast you can find on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, Google Podcasts, and soon, hopefully soon, haven't gotten the alert yet from Amazon, but Amazon Music or whatever platform they're going to be hosting the podcast on should be there soon on this show, as well as the Take 3 Wrestling podcast as well too. My other podcast centered on wrestling only, with my guys Mike and Joe. That should be up. Those both shows should be up on the Amazon platform any day now, any minute now, any second now. Who knows? I haven't gotten an alert yet. I sent in the request, about 4 or 5 days ago, and too many of these things take about a couple of days. I don't know how long Amazon's turnaround, but we shall see what happens there. Let's start the show tonight. I want to start, unfortunately, so somber news here to talk about here this week on the podcast. We have two pretty significant deaths this week in the world of sports and pro wrestling. First in sports, legendary Hall of Fame running back Gale Sayers passed away at the age of 77. Chicago Bears great Gale Sayers. And it's funny, he only, I believe I'm not mistaken, I don't have the number correctly, but I believe he played only 7 years in the NFL. But geez, 7 years, probably the most impactful 7 years in the history of the game. You can argue, if not the greatest running back of all time, certainly in the conversation. You talk about Barry Sanders, you talk about Jim Brown, you talk about, Emmitt Smith, all those guys. Gale Sayers is in that conversation. You talk about Walter Payton, you pull out a top 5 to 6, 7 running backs in the history of play this game. Gale Sayers is in that conversation. Let's make it clear. He passed away this week at the age of 77. Thoughts and prayers to him and his family. And then one half of the Road Warriors or Legion of Doom, if you're a wrestling fan, of course. Animal. Joseph Laurinitus is his real name, but affectionately known as Animal. He also passed away this week at age of 60. Of course, you remember the Road Warriors, of course, the Legion of Doom and WWE. The Road Warriors, of course, Hawk had passed away a long time ago. So both guys are now no longer with us. If you're a wrestling fan from the yesteryear, of course, especially in the 80s and the 90s, you definitely know these guys, know Animal. The Road Warriors, arguably the greatest tag team in the history of pro wrestling, not just WWE, but pro wrestling as a whole. This is one of the most impactful teams to ever exist in this genre. The impact, whether they were Legion of Doom when they came in 1992, or 91 rather, whether they were the Road Warriors, as they were known in other promotions, didn't matter. These guys made impact wherever they went. Multiple tag team champions, great in the ring, great personalities, great on the mic. Certainly the personalities of what they did, stood out. Obviously we're going to miss him, of course, and miss both. Of course, Hawk passed away years ago. But we'll always remember them. I mean, of course, you have the W Network, of course, you can look back and some of these classic matches and see the impact that they made. Like I said, you talk about tag teams all the time. The same with Gale Sayers. Talk about top 5 running backs all time. He's in that conversation. You talk about top 5 tag teams. I mean, the argument could be really made that they are the greatest tag team in history of the business. So, in that retrospect, it's very, especially sad to hear about this, but, you know, of course, thoughts prayers to both the Sayers family as well as Laurinitus family. Animal also had a son who played in the NFL for a long time. I don't think he's still in the NFL anymore, but, yeah, it's a very, 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 just sad story all around in sports and pro wrestling. Anyway, so what I've done this week so far. This week's been, standard, but last weekend, this past Sunday, I actually went to Miami for the first time in quite a while, with the family. We went to Miami to visit my best friend Alex, who I've known for now, this is now 28 years now, since 1992. Him and I have been friends for a long time. He was the best man at my wedding. We went down there on Sunday to have just a pool day, a cookout with families. Him and I, we both are married. We both have 2 kids. He has 2 girls, 2 wonderful girls, Camila and Emma. His wife Karen, of course, amazing. All their family's a wonderful family. Because I have 2 boys, and we had a good time. We went down there. Nice house. Went to watch football all day long. Just to have a good time and fellowship and whatnot. The kids were in the pool, had a great time and fellowship as well too. We were there. The kids were in the pool for 7 hours. We were there for almost the entire day. Just had a wonderful time. And it's funny because sometimes it takes things happening around you. Take this pandemic for example, to truly appreciate what really matters. We can sit there and talk about what kind of car you have, TVs and material things, all that. But at the end of the day, man, it's about what you did. It's about the time spent with people you care about and you love. That's just me. I'm not saying you have to do that kind of stuff. If there's people you don't like, you don't care for, that's up to you. For me personally, my value now is as I'm at age 40, I feel like I'm at a crossroad in my life right now. A lot of things. Put a lot of value now into time spent with family, people I care about. Family, friends, even me. So I've been, really trying to make a point now. Now that we're starting to loosen up now with, the rules here with the phases in terms of the COVID-19, in terms of how we're operating, starting to come out and hang out with more people. People I've been close to years, I haven't seen in months or even years. Trying to reconnect and to kind of reconnect with family too. Made me think about it too, especially because this year, every year my family comes down from different parts of the country, for the holidays, and I don't think this is going to happen this year. I think most of my family's going to stay where they're at. Like my sister and her family, her husband and her 3 kids, my nephews and niece, they come down there every year for the holidays. They were actually supposed to move here this year, but that's probably not going to happen anytime soon due to this pandemic. I've not asked them, but I'm imagining they're going to stay in Connecticut, for the holidays. I imagine most of my families, other families who live in other states in this country, cousins or whatever, are going to stay put where they're at, for safety use or whatever it may be. And again, my whole point is this: is it's about trying to figure out and to prioritize, time spent with people you care about. And when you can't be with them for big moments, it makes you begin to appreciate when you did and do. And, I'm going through that now. When, as I said, people are going to stay where they're at for this holiday season, and it's going to stink. You're going to have, not going to have the traditional, Thanksgiving parade this year that my wife likes to watch every year. I don't really necessarily care for it, but it's tradition in my house. I don't watch the entire thing with her, but I will step in and, just watch it, watch bits and pieces with her just to kind of be there, be in the moment with her and appreciate it. So, it's one of those things where this, if there's one thing this pandemic has taught me, if there's one thing it's really put on my heart, is more so the fact that you never know, especially with these passings of these 2 people I mentioned earlier. You never know when your time is coming. And I'm not trying to get very negative here again, but what really matters in life to me is people you love, people that you love and care for, and vice versa, and spend time as much as possible. You know, I think, you know, I know, at least I know on my part, on my end, I've been wanting and I've been trying to prioritize time spent with my friends and family and people I care about. Because you never know, man. And this pandemic has taught us, if it's taught me something, it's that. So, you know, hopefully we come out of this better. But again, with the way the political world is right now, especially too, I don't think we've learned anything. I think we're just as divided as we were coming to this pandemic, if not even not more. And it's a sad place to be at right now. Speaking of politics, we are now about a week removed from the passing of the iconic Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsberg. I was getting it wrong. Ruth Bader Ginsberg, RBG. Yeah, Ruth Bader Ginsberg. That's right. Passed away last week, age 87. Obviously, it shouldn't be too shocking. She had a lot of health issues in recent years. You know, it's not laughing about it, but a lot of people will say, you know, because of the nature of the political spectrum right now, that put her in a bubble and all that. But you know, she was such an important trailblazer for women's rights, and this is what she meant to this country in terms of progressive politics and all that. Progressive, not just politics, but also this progressive, you know, the courtship, whatever, maybe. You know, she was such a trailblazer for that. Now, of course, her passing obviously was clouded around a lot of the political, you know, checkers or chess, you want to call it, chess pieces here. Of course, within 2 hours after that's been announced, the GOP not dropped any chance announcing that they'll be filling her seat. Now, this is very important because obviously they have the majority, and with her seat now being open, the idea is because Donald Trump's president, because it's a GOP-led Senate also too, that conservatives will have the leverage to fill her seat. Now, here's the thing I've been saying all week long, and whether or not you agree or disagree with the situation, how it's happening. As fucked up and hypocritical as it is, especially what happened with Obama 4 years ago with Merrick Garland and his pick of Merrick Garland, and not being able to fill that seat when the last justice passed away back in 2015, you know, there was nothing illegal with what they're doing. This is all politics. You know, obviously Mitch McConnell was, you know, the way he, you know, handled 4 years ago, it is what it is. I don't agree with it either, but it is what it is. Nothing illegal about that. It's really his bad faith. And unfortunately, this is merely a good faith argument being had. You know, the GOP isn't doing anything illegal or out of bounds. This is all politics, unfortunately. And, you know, I don't want to sound like a complete prick here, but let's call it for what it is. I hate to say this, but things like this is why I've been saying for years that elections have consequences. It is time for people to be more engaged in the electoral process and know what can and will affect you. I wrote about this on my blog back in 2017, how important it is to be part of the process. You can't be the one not voting and be the same person 2 years later bitching about how this happens, or not. If you voted, maybe things would change. You know, and 2016 was one of those examples of many people staying home because many people were not okay with the candidates presented, and I get that. Look, I think I've been saying vocally that we should have more than two parties. Obviously, the two-party system is not something I believe is effective in this country. I mean, this is the greatest country in the world. Yes, we can do better, and I think one of the things we can do better is having more parties at the table. But you're not going to be able to do that until you have an influence in the electoral process. You know? Now, Donald Trump is expected to announce his picks, or his list on Friday, which is, by the time this podcast comes out, it might be out already. Right now, the favorite to fill the seat is Amy Coney Barrett, who's a conservative lawyer. She has 7 kids. I think 2 were adopted from Haiti. A lot of folks do fear her. A lot of people fear that she is going to be someone who will be influential and possibly, you know, overturning Roe v. Wade, returning Obamacare, and all that. My opinion personally is that I don't think Roe v. Wade will ever be overturned, regardless of how much conservatives are on the bench. I think because Roe v. Wade is a lot more, it's much more complicated of a, you know, of a situational topic than we give it credit for. Okay, I think there's a lot of fear there. I'm just saying, from my opinion, that there's a lot of fear probably for some of the judges on there that by doing this could turn something that could be very, very catastrophic with how people handle these things. Who knows? So I'm not saying that it's not going to be overturned or is going to be overturned, whatever. I think I think a lot of liberals, a lot of Democrats are overplaying their hand with this topic. Maybe I'm being naive. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I think it's much more. I think if anything, I think it's much more possible that Obamacare will be overturned as opposed to Roe v. Wade. That's my opinion. As for polling, recent polling, and we've been doing this on this podcast for the last 2 months. Doing our Donald Trump reelection odds percentage-wise. Recent polling, including one poll from the ABC News and the Washington Post, has Donald Trump and Joe Biden at a virtual tie in 3 important battlegrounds. And one poll has Trump actually up 4 points. I believe it was if it's not Florida, I think it was Pennsylvania. And again, the race is tightening. Let's be real. The race is tightening. And I think we're going to continue getting these tightening polls as we get closer. But now we're just a hair under 6 weeks from the election. Okay? We got the debate starting next week. Then another debate after that with the vice presidents, running mates between Kamala Harris and Mike Pence. And then another debate week after that between Biden and Trump. So we're going to see more of this. But again, the last hurdle of this process is the debates. And that's going to start next week. So things are about to ratchet up to a crescendo. I think everything's going to peak at this point. The next peak now of this election process before we get to the election itself is coming up next week. So hang on there live for the ride. And of course, we have this situation with the Supreme Court pick and all that. This adds fuel to the fire. It's going to be an interesting 6 weeks. Whether or not, because really, honestly, Democrats have nothing they can do to really delay this thing. Really, there's really nothing they can do. The Senate can call for this. Democrats needed at least 4 Republicans to say no, or to say that that's not fair to go to rush a pick in. But only 2 so far have said that they are on that side: Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski. Mitt Romney, unfortunately for liberals, said that he's going to go. He's okay. He supports going forward to pick. So again, a lot of political mumbo jumbo, and we'll see what happens. It's going to be a fascinating 6 weeks as we get closer to the election. And this thing's going to tighten. This is going to tighten. Let's be real. In fact, I'll be honest with you right now. Last week on the podcast, I had 45% for Donald Trump's election odds. I'm going to go up now to 50%. I think because of the polls tightening, and I think the enthusiasm's there. We still have the debates coming up now, especially too. There's still a chance of Joe Biden to screw this up, say something stupid, say something out of whack. He's not the ideal pick for a lot of Democrats. So not for me. I'd rather see somebody fresh face, Andrew Yang, Buttigieg, someone of that nature, somebody who's with it. Same about Donald Trump. Donald Trump may be nuts, if you will, but Donald Trump, I won't call him sharp, but he still battles. Let's just say that he still battles, and I think if you were really being honest with yourself and you look at Donald Trump and Joe Biden in terms of how they talk and how they speak, and regardless of what they say itself, who would be more direct, who would be more effective to it? Probably Donald Trump, just because of the way he is. Not the greatest speaker in the world, but again, he can still charm his way to people's, sets. It's weird. I get it's weird, but 6 weeks to go. All right, let's get to the NBA playoffs now. We are games away from the finals. I'm stoked, obviously. The Miami Heat now a 3-1 in this series. Tomorrow night or tonight, as you get this podcast, will be a opportunity to close out the series against Boston. I don't think the series is over, obviously, but man, Miami is definitely. These games have gone on the wire. Other than Game 3, the only things the game's gone on the wire. In this game, Game 4 was no different. Tyler Hero having a game of the ages for a guy 20 years old. Crazy what we watched last night. with the Heat and Celtics game 4. And I don't really need to remind you guys how much I love this specific roster. Top 3 roster I've enjoyed of the 31 years I've been a Heat fan. This is a phenomenal balance of roster. Eric Spoelstra's finest hour, in my opinion. I mean, people say, "Oh, they're in the Big 3 era and all that, they win titles." And yes, the accomplishments of the titles definitely add to the conversation. But I think with this team, with no pressure, so much fun to watch. No pressure, not even supposed to be in a spot, playing with house money, all that. You have to give this team credit. So the Heat 3-1, a chance to end that series against Boston, Game 5. From Miami, stay on the gas because Boston's tough. Boston ain't dead yet. They are tough. So if I'm the Heat, you find a way to end this series on Friday in discussion. Lakers series right now, as we speak right now, they're on game 4 is going on with that as well. Second half this started in that game, and right now, as I record this podcast, the Lakers are up by 10, 70-16 midway through the third quarter. I think they're going to end the series in 5. Honestly, I think they win this game tonight and end it on Saturday as well. I will say this: Denver, like Boston's resilient. Denver has come back from 3-1 deficit in both the series prior to this one, against the Jazz in round 1 and against the Clippers in round 2. So I wouldn't count them out just yet. But let's be real, also too. This is LeBron James. This is Anthony Davis. Let's be real, okay? Let's not be cute about it. These guys are 2 or 3 best players in the world right now. So, NBA news other than that, the Philadelphia 76ers coaching search is down to 2 guys: Mike D'Antoni, who left the Houston Rockets, and Tyronn Lue. Now, me personally, I don't see the fit for D'Antoni. Just me, looking at the roster. But I did see a report today, and it hasn't really got much traction, but I saw a report today that Philly possibly going after James Harden. So maybe that's the angle. If they hire D'Antoni, for example, then the other angle is they will probably go after James Harden. I don't know about that. I don't know if fit about that. I don't know if they'll fit at all, but, whatever. I know Harden has a lot of money left on his contract. I'll say that right now. But yeah, that's the story going on there with with the Sixers and whatnot. We'll see how that goes. I mean, again, they had a very disappointing end to the season this year. The Bulls also hired Billy Donovan as the head coach this week as well too. It's a good hire. I think the Bulls will be in play for an 8 seed next year. I think the East is going to be disgustingly good next year, but especially when they add the Nets and Kevin Durant and his return to the team. Yeah. I think they'll be in play for an 8 seed. Beyond that, that's about it, really, in terms of the NBA. Just the conference finals right now has been pretty interesting. And we'll see. I mean, obviously, the Lakers are the favorites to win the West. I think any match they play to draw Boston, which is looking very doubtful now, given the 3-1 deficit. But you have the Lakers Celtics angle, which is obviously very easy to buy yourself into because of the history of both those teams, but also Lakers and Heat, and the LeBron angle. And me personally, a lot of people who I've been in this business with for a long time, and Laker fans or supporters or media members, so that'll be fun. Lakers Heat series, but we'll see. We'll wait. Let's not cross that bridge until we cross that bridge. Until that's actually official, So let's show respect to Denver and to Boston, please. Now, as for the NFL, we're now approaching week 3. Week 2's in the books, obviously. Week 2 was actually defined by a bevy of injuries by notable players. Really. Saquon Barkley out for the year, torn ACL. Nick Bosa out for the year, torn ACL. Jimmy Garoppolo got hurt. A lot of injuries this week on week 2. A lot of people are saying that because of the reason of not having any preseason and all that, that's the reason why these injuries happen. I still defend preseason to this day. Preseason is mostly a waste of time. They don't have one in college football, so what's the big deal? I do think the blame no preseason really is linked solely to injuries. Is over the top. I think this solely blaming on injuries, because injuries, no matter what happens, I think the difference between injuries this week versus injuries in the past is that the notable guys get injuries. That's the difference, really, more than anything else. Is the notable guys get injuries, guys who are top 5 in their position, in the league. Saquon Barkley is obviously top 5 running back in the league. Nick Bosa top 5 defensive player in the league. So that's obviously more of the situation there. But it is what it is. We're all narrative based. in the league. So it is what it is. But week 2 was decent. Week 3 should be. I think week 3 is going to be really, really good. A lot of intriguing matches for week 3. So as we've been doing this podcast for the last couple of weeks, let's get to the picks of the week on this show. Now last week I went 10-6 against the spread. Yay me. The first game here on the list actually is right now, and pretty much every time I do this podcast, for the most part, I'll probably around the time the games are on Thursday Night Football. The Dolphins and the Jaguars is actually going on right now. I had the over in this game on this game. Right now, the Dolphins are dominating right now. Late third quarter, they're up 28-7. Good job. I had the over in this game at 48.5. I don't know if I'll get that though. We'll see if getting any late scores. The Jaguars were 2.5-point favorites in this game, but the Dolphins are dominating now as we hit to the third quarter. All right, so next game here for Sunday. Here we go. 2-0 Chicago Bears versus the 0-2 Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons are 3-point favorites right now. The over/under on this game is 47.5. Obviously, we've been talking about all week long about the Falcons and their choke job against the Cowboys. Dan Quinn definitely in the hot seat right now. The Bears are 2-0, but eked out a win against Detroit 2 weeks ago. The Giants, as bad as they are, was on the verge of scoring and winning that game on the road last week. The Bears, I don't think the Bears are that good. And I think the Falcons now, with what happened last week and whatnot, I think they're better than the record. I think the Falcons win this game, and I think they're doing this game going away, honestly. Give the Falcons a cover this game 3 points. Seriously. All right. This is one of the interesting games of the week. Both unbeaten teams here. The LA Rams head to Buffalo to face the Bills. The Bills, are 2-point favorites, 2.5-point favorites, rather. The over-under in this game is 47.5. I like Buffalo here. I think this is another opportunity for the Bills to make a statement. You want to be taken seriously as a top-tier team. You beat a team that was in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. And, if you do that, obviously you make some noise. The Rams are a solid team. Bills, this is the most one for the Bills. Another statement game. I think the Bills will get a job done, and they'll cover 2.5 points. All right. The Washington football team heading to Cleveland face the Browns. The Browns right now are 7-point favorites. The over/under is 44.5. I actually like the under in this game. Now, the Browns haven't played in about 10 days. Well, as when this game kicks off on Sunday, it'll been about 10 days. Maybe a little rust here. Who knows? I can see Washington's defense playing well while he's playing in this game. Browns win this game, but I am not in no position to feel confident in the Browns and covering a 7-point spread. Okay, so I think the Browns will win this game, but I think this game will be relatively competitive, possibly. But I'm going to take the under in this game at 44.5. Okay, the Tennessee Titans heading to Minnesota to face the Vikings. Minnesota Vikings. The Titans right now are 2.5-point favorites. The over/under is 48.5. The Vikings are very disappointed this year. The Titans 2-0, but 2 very sloppy wins. I like the over here. Maybe the Vikings play better this week. We'll see. Right now, Kirk Cousins on the flyer this week, and the entire team's on the flyer. In fact, they're in my bottom 5 in my power rankings. That's how bad they were, and they've been this year so far. All right, the banged-up San Francisco 49ers heading to New York to face the New York Football Giants. The Niners right now, NFC champions, are 4-point favorites. The over/under is 41.5. I am going to take the over in this game. Lots of injuries on both teams, but I can see this being maybe a sloppy-ish game. Maybe some pick sixes here. Maybe, this could be a defensive game where you see some scoring on both ends. I don't know. But I'm going to take the over in this game. I think I can see a 23-20 situation here. In this game. All right. The Cincinnati Bengals heading to Philadelphia to face the Eagles. Both teams 0-2. The Eagles right now are 5.5-point favorites. The over/under is 46.5. The Eagles are playing really, really bad football right now. I think they'll win this game, but I think the Bengals keep this thing close. Give me the Bengals the points. A lot of points for a team right now. The Eagles that right now are trying to find themselves. The Houston Texans heading to Pittsburgh to face the Steelers. The Steelers right now are 3.5-point favorites. The over/under is 45 points. I got the over in this game. Steelers are good, but Houston needs this game badly, and I'm not. They could be competitive. I can see a lot of points on the board here from both teams. So give me the over in this game at 45 points. All right. The surprising Las Vegas Raiders heading to New England to face the Patriots. The Pats are 6-point favorites. The over/under is 47.5. I like the Raiders here to cover the spread. Pats win a close one. Cam Newton's been great so far for the Patriots, doing his job. And, that's all I say about that. The Jets, the worst team in football, in my opinion, heading to Indy to face the Colts. The Colts right now with the biggest spread on the board at 11 points. The over-under is 44 points. Easy here. Take the Colts to cover the spread. The Jets are terrible, and Adam Gase should be fired any week now. The Carolina Panthers heading to L.A. to face the Chargers. The Chargers right now are 6.5-point favorites. The over-under is 44 points. Chargers, pretty good football right now. Anthony Lynn doing a good job there. They almost beat the Chiefs last week. However, give me the under. I can see Carolina playing some spoiler, even without Christian McCaffrey. So, all right, a couple more games here to go. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers heading to Denver to face the Broncos. The Bucs are 6-point favorites. The over/under is 43.5. I like the Bucs here. I think Tom Brady will have a solid game. I know this is an environment he does not do well typically, but the Broncos are bad. This is call for what it is. All right, the Detroit Lions heading to Arizona to face the 2-0 Cardinals. The Cardinals are 5.5-point favorites. The over/under is 54.5. It's funny. Lions are 0-2, Cardinals 2-0. Both teams playing opposite, playing on the spectrum of each other, and yet the Cardinals are only a 5.5-point favorite. Vegas trying to tease you here. And I'm going to stupidly take the Lions here on the points. I think Matt Stafford has a solid game. I think Cardinals win this game overall. All right, the Dallas Cowboys heading to Seattle, face the Seahawks. The Seahawks are 4.5-point favorites. The over/under is 55 points. Give me under this game. I think the defense here play well here. I think this will be a somewhat defensive game here. So give me under this game. All right, the Green Bay Packers heading to New Orleans to face the Saints. The Saints are only 3-point favorites. Over/under 51.5. Again, the under. By the way, Drew Brees, follow time is here. He looked really bad last week, and I think this is his last year anyway. So I don't know. It must have been here for the Saints though. By giving the under in this game. And finally, the big clash of the year so far. The Kansas City Chiefs headed to Baltimore to face the Ravens. As the Ravens right now are 3.5-point favorites. The over/under is 53.5. I honestly believe the Ravens are going to come out and kick their ass. I honestly don't. I think the Ravens are going to make a statement here. I'm not saying better than the Chiefs. I just think the spot, Monday Night Football at home, all that. I think the Ravens are gonna cover the spread and win fairly easy. Kansas City's been kind of like, they're there. Chiefs will get the job done. They're Super Bowl champions. They got target on their back, so obviously teams are gonna play up for them. So it is what it is. All right, time to talk wrestling, my boy GW Gras, as we preview Clash of Champions this weekend. All right, on the line with us, previewing Clash of Champions this weekend is the old friend of the pod, GW Gras, G Stelio, GWSDWIO on Twitter. G, what's up?
The heartthrob in the flesh.
The heartthrob in the flesh.
That's
before
right.
we get to the preview, you got a new podcast.
Yes, sir. Broke away from the old podcast and the old network. And me and Raul Bennington, who were both co-hosts on the old podcast, just created our own stuff. We just call it Another Bears Podcast. There's about like 90 other Bears podcasts out there. So
it's so creative, dude. It is so creative. By the way, I took the kids to the pool the other day. I was playing the last episode I did on Tuesday because y'all beat the Giants this week. My Giants this weekend. I would have a bone to pick with you, except I actually agree with everything you said with the Giants. They're fucking trash.
Oh yeah, like the way they've been drafting, they just have not been building that team. And I tell everybody, I know people are listening or don't want to hear football, but I tell everybody they held on to the whole Eli Manning thing too long. For 2 years, too long. They held on to Eli Manning and tried to build around him for too long, and it hurt them.
Yeah, I try to get really honestly less emotional about these things. I mean, the Giants haven't really been relevant in about 8 years, 9 years. I mean, they made playoffs one time in the last since the last Super Bowl championship in 2011. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. At some point, you have to accept who you are, and they're trash.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that the Giants will always get to hang on everybody is they beat the Patriots twice, and once was the undefeated season. So the Giants kind of always have the last say because of that. They beat Brady twice in the Super Bowl, and one time was the undefeated season. But after that second Super Bowl, it's been just bad management by New York.
I feel like that we actually gave the devil, like we made a deal with the devil to let that happen. Like, okay,
Yeah.
let's win this Super Bowls with the Patriots, and then
You know what?
like
I,
shit
I,
last
I
night.
think it's the only logical explanation.
I'm seriously, dude. Like, and the thing is that like, they have drafted some old linemen in the last couple of years. I know Justin Pugh one point a couple of years ago.
Hernandez.
And Hernandez, he stunk too. I mean, but it's
Yeah.
just, nothing works. Saquon Barkley, it
Yeah.
doesn't work. It is what it is. Before I get to the preview real quick, if you're the Giants, and obviously you hate the team. It's by far the most hated team in all sports.
Oh,
Yeah. If you were the New York Giants and you have a chance to fall for that number one pick, would you actually tank for Trevor? Because I'm kind of, I like Daniel Jones, but I mean, Trevor Lawrence
yeah. You know what?
a generation quarterback.
I think the Cardinals kind of set the precedent for that now. The Cardinals went, then they drafted Kyler Murray right away. Like they didn't care who they had at quarterback. And I think that's what it is now. If your guy is there, then you go for it. But the thing is though about this draft, there's like 3 good quarterbacks coming out. You got the Ohio State quarterback. You got oh my God, what's the other kid's name? You got Justin Fields. You got
Ohio State.
yeah, you got him. You got Trevor Lawrence, and you got the kid that went from Wake Forest to Georgia. I forgot his name right now. You also got him. Then people like don't want to flyer on Trey Lance from North Dakota State. So the first 3 I like. North Dakota State kid, not too much, but there's guys out there, and if the Giants want to make a trade, everyone's always willing to move down, to trade for that quarterback. So, I mean, there's guys, but I'm not in the business of tanking per se.
Neither am I. But
Yeah, I'm not in the business for tanking because if it doesn't work out, you just have more bad seasons. It's like just play. Because I hate tanking because that means you're not even trying to see what you have on your roster to build. Right. So yeah, I'm not for tanking.
And I feel like Daniel Jones has something there. I mean, there's something.
I mean, what is it? Some guys are just NFL quarterbacks, so they don't necessarily have to be franchise guys. I kind of feel that's Daniel Jones. I feel he could be in the league for 15 years, but I don't think he could be a franchise guy.
That's kind of how I feel. That's kind of how I view Sam Darnold.
Yeah, and Sam Darnold he's been dealt a rough hand with Adam Gase and that Jets team, though. That's a rough. I mean, I don't even know how good he is, to be quite honest, because that's a bad team.
Right. Well, one day we'll talk about football, so, and we can talk. We got to talk College Champions, which is this coming Sunday night at the Thunderdome. Who's on the Thunderdome? You like Thunderdome?
I actually like it.
Me too.
I think it looks cool. And the whole thing with WWE is the fan experience. So I kind of dig it. You're in that, what is that? The suspension of disbelief kind of, anyway, with wrestling. And I think it's kind of cool that there's fans, quote unquote, there. I think probably like in a month or 2, I would predict that Mr. Man's going to have limited seating if depending on the states he goes to. Right. I think he'll have limited seating at some places. So I think once in a while, eventually they'll open it up a little bit. But this is cool, though. I actually like the Thunderdome, though. Like
me too.
Even if they do start opening up, I don't mind seeing this once in a while.
I mean, this is a residency for all intents and purposes. This is a residency that they're doing, which is really smart. Yeah. And, same from Vince McMahon. And please, a lot of things been said about Vince McMahon through the years, mostly negative in a lot of ways. But this is a guy that gives a shit about his product.
He does. And you've been on this before. He is pretty much Al Davis. Yeah. He's a legend. He's going to do everything his way, even if it's wrong. And that's just the way everybody's got to deal with it.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what he is. Yeah.
Exactly. All right, let's get to the predictions for the card. A lot of intriguing matchups here this coming Sunday. Let's get to the SmackDown Tag Team Championship between Cesaro, Shinsuke Nakamura versus the Lucha House Party. I kind of like the Cesaro and Shinsuke pairing, and I'm actually okay with them having the belts right now. I like it.
Yeah, I'm with it too. But these are 2 guys. Cesaro has kind of always been the disrespected guy. He can wrestle with anybody, sell anything. He is always a stud in a match. Like you put him in a match, he's a stud. He can sell anything, and a guy that size too. I remember his fights with Ricochet. I thought were amazing. I thought him and Ricochet had some great matches. But he's always been kind of shitted on. But he had a great tag team run with as the Bar. I thought I really want them to continue together. I thought the Bar was one of the better tag teams. I thought they were funny together. Cesaro's got good mic skills too. He's a personality.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's good. And that's good because Shinsuke, they make him like pretty much just kind of growl and whatever.
Right.
But yeah, I'm fine with them being tag team champions. This match is a total wash. I mean, Lucha House Party are just fancy jobbers. I mean, I haven't seen these guys win one match, I think, in my life.
And it's funny because I think was it Kalisto had the IC championship opportunity against AJ Styles about a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
They get a lot of pubs on. They get a lot of pub on TV during this pandemic. I mean, we'll say
they do.
Pretty decent.
They do, but there's no way they're gonna make these two guys job to them on a pay-per-view.
I'm with you. Yeah. Retain. All right, we got the Raw's Women's Championship between Asuka, the champion, versus Zelina Vega. This is suppose this is going to be either a kickoff
game match. Yeah. So I'll probably miss it.
I'm a little surprised at that. Raw Women's Championship, you think would be on the main show, but whatever. Yeah. Zelina Vega. I mean, she's one of the MVPs for the pandemic era or the no crowd.
Yeah, 100%. And I hate that the stable is like always on again, off again.
Yeah.
I hate it. Just have them together. I mean, they're gonna fight. We'll get to that fight later, but I hate the internal conflict. It's been ongoing for like 4 months already. It's like, just stop it already with the internal conflict.
Well, does it go to head tonight? I mean, not tonight. Well, Sunday night. I mean, who knows?
Who knows? Who knows?
I saw Raw. I mean, I haven't finished the rest of Raw, but the opening match, between, the triple threat match where, of course, Andrade and Angel Garza got the, title shot. But they won that without Zelina at ringside. So
yeah. Yeah, and like you prefaced before you brought it up, I think Zelina's been one of the MVPs to this whole pandemic era. I think she's been great on the mic. And I didn't even know she's from Queens, New York. I had no idea. So now she kind of pulls on my heartstrings, and I'm pulling for the little Latina from New York now. I have to.
Well, I love her too, man. But
yeah, like and then like I love her Instagram. It's like very artsy. Have you noticed that? Like she has like a color scheme for her outfits. It's really like really cool shit. And like her and her husband, they take like the coolest pictures together.
Oh, like her husband is out the block.
Yeah, like they take the coolest pictures together. Those two, this is a badass couple. She's obviously gonna lose, because
awesome.
But and I kind of like what WWE's doing because they're just gonna have Asuka run with this title for a while. Like they had to lose it bullshitly to Sasha, but they're having Asuka run with it for a while, as she should be, because Becky Lynch kind of like handed her the belt, so right. She should be running with it. I do think it'll be a good match though.
Right, and if there's anybody who's running with it, it should be Asuka. So.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, the United States Championship between the champion Bobby Lashley versus Apollo Crews. I believe this is a rematch from SummerSlam, or either SummerSlam or the Payback. These two met.
I feel like this is a rematch from every Raw for the last like 5 months.
Right. Real quick,
what happened?
No, the Hurt Business. What do you like with her? You like the Hurt Business?
I'm actually, I'm coming around to her.
I'm thinking it, man.
I was never a fan of MVP. Never a fan of Lashley. Yeah, I was never a fan of MVP. Never a fan of Lashley. Then when they got Shelton Benjamin, I have loved Shelton. I know he's a bum, but I love Shelton Benjamin. I think he's hilarious. I think he was never used correctly in WWE. I love Shelton Benjamin. And then they got what's his face, the cruiserweight kid.
Shit. I know who it exactly.
Is. They got him too, and I kind of like the way he's actually good on the mic. That kid, So like, I actually like MVP stable. I actually hope Lashley wins. Really,
it's Cedric Alexander for the record.
Yeah, Cedric Alexander. Yeah, he's actually really good on the mic. Cedric Alexander.
Oh, he's really good. That the promo last week was pretty good.
Yeah, like he's really good on the mic, and it's cool because all of them except for Lashley are good on the mic. So it's really good for Lashley to have those three guys with him. But I think Lashley wins this match. Apollo Crews is one of those guys that he's pretty much like just really a fancy jobber, just like Cesaro, just a really fancy jobber, And it's a shame because he's physically and athletically the total package, but just the personality is just blah.
Yeah, I will say that one of the positives about the No Crowd era really also is like Bobby Lashley being used as a monster he should be.
Yeah,
he's a monster. The guy is probably the best looking in terms of like the way he looks, muscles, all that in the entire company, and he should be used as such, and he hasn't been used as such. And I the idea was that that her business was going to be the next, nation domination, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's clean. It's more clean cut than that. I like it.
I like it.
I like what they're doing.
And I actually thought the idea to keep it the way it is, and this would be a great rebrand if they recruited Naomi.
Ooh.
Right? It would just be the sweetest.
I mean, there is a redraft coming.
Because I like how MVP is reaching. It's like really cool the way he's doing it. He's reaching out to like the black people who are misused in the company.
Yeah.
He's just like, he's like, you're being held down. They're like, damn, you're right. And I think if he went to Naomi with that, oh, dude, I think that would push Naomi with the new gimmick everybody wants her to have, an attitude, and she'd be playing the heel with these guys. I think, and Naomi could pull off the heel if she really needed to. She's great, and I've been pushing for Naomi to get a change, man, because I think she's one of the most talented that they have in the roster. Forget about men's and women, just one of the most talented in the roster, and I'm kind of pushing they do that.
Yeah, I'm with you there. All right. We got the Raw Tag Team Championship on the line between the Street Profits, the defending champions who have been champions since January, versus Andrade and Angel Garza. We just mentioned earlier on the this podcast. Another rematch of a Raw,
and
Payback.
But you know what? These guys put on a show though.
They did.
The Street Profits are probably my favorite, probably one of my favorite things to watch right now. You know, I love the Street Profits.
I do too.
And my thing is though, I love Angel and what's his name? And Andrade.
It's a boy. That's a boy.
Yeah, Andrade I've liked for a long time. Of course. And the Angel grew on me really well. And pause. And but yeah, I think this is gonna probably be the best match on the card.
Yeah.
I'm pulling for the Street Profits, but I wouldn't be so mad to see Andrade and Angel get the belts.
It wouldn't shock me if they actually do win the belts. In fact, I mean, the Profits have had the belts for now almost 10 months. And Angel. I mean, maybe this you can have the storyline now of like assuming that we believe this Lena Vega is not part of this faction anymore, and they win the title without her. Then all of a sudden you have another storyline developing out of that now. Who knows?
You know what's kind of funny to me too. I'm bringing up the black thing again. I'm really not trying to sway that way, but it's kind of funny because the New Day, Big E's got his solo run now, and we saw the Kofi solo run, and the New Day's done it all in the tag team ranks, and it's kind of funny that New Day is kind of like just becoming legends at this point, and then they just push the Street Profits. I think the Street Profits could be that for the next 5-6 years.
I will say, man, I've been saying for a couple months now that I think Montez Ford could be a star, could be like The Rock. I see he's so talented. He's just so skinny. He's just skinny. I mean, it's just 2020. We don't have junkyard dogs anymore.
No, we don't. He's just but he's ripped skinny. I'm not saying he's a twig.
No.
The guy is super ripped. He's a great athlete. He's great on the mic, and when he gets that charged energy, he's like on crack.
I like Angelo Dawkins, but he could be a little much at times. What's up, dog?
He could be
like a little too much.
I have friends like that.
Like what?
Just really extra.
It's a little much though. Like they were on commentary during the Triple Threat match on Raw this week, and like he's like kind of like a little much. Like step back a little bit, dude. Just a little bit.
Yeah. But then again, you can see why their friendship works because they're kind of like that.
Right.
You can see how like in real life they are really close friends like that, and you can see why. You can see why.
Absolutely. All right, we got the women's tag team championship on the line between Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, versus the Riot Squad. How do you feel about the Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler appearing right now? I mean, I'm slowly starting to be okay.
I'm alright with it, but I'm also kind of over Nia. Like she's so bad on the mic.
She's so bad in the ring.
She's so bad on the mic, and she's reckless in the ring.
Yes.
And it's like, and I understand why they had to do it because Nia is supposed to be that immovable force kind of thing, and she hasn't had a belt since I think Alexa Bliss took the belt from her like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And Baszler hasn't done anything really, since she came to the main roster. So they had to throw these two a bone. I kind of feel like it's almost like a Cesaro and Shinsuke kind of situation. They had to
give something to do, in other words. Give something to do.
The Riot Squad, I'm really upset that they put them together because what happened to the whole Liv Morgan push that we were getting 4 months ago?
Right.
And Liv Morgan's really good. And not to take anything from Ruby Riott, because before she got hurt, Ruby Riott was on TV every day working. She was on TV all the time, Ruby Riott, and she was putting in work, So, I mean, I guess they had to do something, but, I kind of wanted to see them both do something solo, but you know how the women's division is. So, and I can't see the Riot Squad winning this at all. You
No,
know?
of course, me either.
Yeah,
Not that.
yeah, I can't see them winning it.
Back to Shayna Baszler real quick, though. I think a lot of the issues with her is more so had nothing to do with her, more so the fact that she's been booked horribly since coming
Yeah.
from in January.
Yeah, I mean, so that she had the beef with Becky, and that was like it. After the Becky beef,
Right.
that was it for her. Like, there was nothing else. And I mean, I'm not even trying to be that guy, but like everyone knows that like Baszler could probably beat up literally every girl on the roster.
Yeah.
But they're never gonna put the belt on her for a long period of time because she's just not marketable.
I've been saying they should give her a mouthpiece. Like, she can't talk almost on the mic. Give her
And she's actually not bad on the mic either. Like, I don't think she's bad on the
terrible,
mic.
but she's probably gotten better. I mean, initially
she's better than Ronda Rousey was.
Right, but give her a mouth. Give her a fucking Paul Heyman or somebody. You know what I mean? Or give her
You're right. Like, but that's what it comes down to a lot of times. It's like, and that's why Becky was pretty much perfect. You know,
Right.
She was the perfect person to carry the industry as the woman, because she was a pretty girl and she played the tough guy role at the same time. It was just perfect, you know. So.
I mean, you don't call you the man for nothing. Come on now.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, the SmackDown Women's Championship on the line between Bayley, your girl,
God,
versus Nikki Cross. I know you hate Bayley, man, but God, this heel turn, it's working. It took a while to catch on, but it is you can argue Bayley might be one of the 5 biggest heels right now in all pro wrestling.
Yeah, I would say that, and I think it's because she's so easy to hate. Honestly,
She's Karen, dude.
It's like, and you know what's always funny about good guys when they turn heel, and this happens to all of them. It's just funny to me. Like, all of a sudden when you turn heel, you just kind of forget how to win fights cleanly.
Yeah.
It's like, because Bayley was like the good guy's good guy, you know? And then all of a sudden she just has to have a foreign object or have Sasha help her. Like I think she's won one match clean once in the last 4 months.
Bayley was supposed to be the next John Cena for the women's division, like the clean cut, baby face. For the
it's just funny. And once again, I know her gimmick and stuff worked well with kids for the longest time.
Mm-hmm.
Like adults didn't give a shit.
Right.
The kids loved her, but then this bad girl gimmick, it just made her really unlikable, which is great for that division because they kind of really needed that heel. Because Charlotte, I never know if she's a heel or not. I kind of think she's just obnoxious, but she's so good, nobody cares.
Yeah.
She's her father's child, so it's like, because I don't think she tries being the heel, but she kind of naturally comes off as one, but you kind of excuse it,
Speaking of Charlotte, I mean, maybe any chance she pops up here in this event? Maybe.
I don't know, because I think there's a better chance of Sasha popping up.
Sasha got hurt twice now in the last couple of weeks from Bayley's shots. I think if I am WWE, I keep Sasha on TV for the next month or two. Bring her back.
So messed up, man. It's like, it looks like the 4 horsewomen are kind of cursed.
Well, what I'm saying is that you want I think the payoff of Bayley and Sasha should be at WrestleMania. But the only way you're gonna do that is keep somebody off TV for a little while and kind of have Bayley build this up, and then.
And the thing is though, like, I don't even know, because people are saying that Royal Rumble is when Becky's gonna come back. So I don't even know if you want to really wait for that one for Sasha, because they're gonna try to push Becky for the belt right away.
Well, she's having a baby in November. I mean.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. They're saying Royal Rumble might be her comeback.
Who knows?
Which, can you imagine that pop?
Oh my God.
Forget it.
But I'll tell you what, and the thing is, this has to be good for her too, because I think, as I was telling everybody, especially the last, prior to the COVID, Becky started getting a little stale for me a little bit in recent months. And then her going away, it makes you, again, you go away somewhere, it makes you appreciate the person when they come back.
And not for nothing, like, I think it's been great, because I think what WWE's going to do with Seth, Seth's been great. I think he's been great with the Messiah thing. He's been top-notch, just a hilarious heel. I think he's been great. I'm tired of him and the Rey Mysterios. No, I'm done with that whole
It's funny,
crap.
That feud, I'm tired of that feud, but honestly, in the ring has been great.
I hate Dominic.
You don't like Dominic at all?
I can't stand Dominic.
I think Dominic will be part of Seth's stable at some point.
Yeah, I think he will be. I think that's going to be the big thing. And I've been waiting for him to turn on his father since day one.
Yeah. I got Bayley for this match regardless.
Yeah. There's no way Bayley loses.
No. You had to ring still beat Sasha. Okay, we got the Intercontinental Championship match, 3-way triple threat ladder match, actually. This is not actually not a bad feud. Jeff Hardy, the champion, versus AJ Styles versus my boy, Sami Zayn. He's back.
I actually don't care about this match.
Really?
Yeah, I'm so
Wait.
over Jeff. I was into Jeff Hardy 20 years ago. I can't stand Jeff Hardy to this day. To like right now, when I was
I'm
younger, I
missing
liked
that
him.
one.
Yeah, I'm just
I'm
like
an AJ guy and Sammy guy, but not.
I
You know.
love AJ. I love Sami Zayn too, but I don't
Yeah.
want to see Sami Zayn in a ladder match. Like, like he's just not that kind of athlete to me. But he may surprise me. I have a feeling Jeff Hardy's gonna come away with this one. So
I don't know, man. I can't. I probably think Sami Zayn might win this one. I don't know why.
because I mean I don't know because like Sami Zayn they just kind of took the belt from him because he didn't want to be on TV because of COVID. So
Right. So, yeah. Right. That makes sense. I know. I got a feeling Sami might win this one. Actually, I don't know. I don't see Jeff Hardy as a long-term champion, and it's been down about a month and a half since he's had the belt now. So I don't know.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give him for another month.
Well, Sami. Well, yeah, you could do that. Extend at least another review or to maybe even Survivor Series.
How old is Jeff Hardy? He's like what 45, 46?
45, yeah, somewhere there.
Damn, that's crazy. That's crazy.
And it's funny, both him and his brother. His brother's is one of the major figures in the AEW too. So
yeah, he almost broke his head open.
Did you see that bump?
Yeah, I saw it on Twitter. I was like, Jesus, dude's a lunatic.
Oh, absolutely. I got Sammy this one. Okay, 2 more matches to go here.
That's crazy. Neither one of us picked the best in that whole match, AJ. That's crazy.
I think AJ's role right now is to put guys over and to.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's one of those guys that he'll get his beef building around Royal Rumble and he'll have a big match at WrestleMania.
He doesn't need the belt right now at this point. He's a main man.
He's great.
Right, he's amazing. Absolutely. Universal Championship on the line between Roman Reigns, the champion, who's back. Heel Roman Reigns versus his cousin Jey Uso. Okay, so. This builds up. Okay, first let me ask you a question. I think I texted you after SummerSlam, and you had said that you hated the ending of the whole show.
Oh, that was terrible. I hated the ending of that.
Explain yourself, please.
Dude, it's just stop. Like, first off, why? Why? Like, I hated the ending of that pay-per-view, bro. I was like, this is the dumbest shit I've seen, man.
Do you hate the execution? Do you hate what happened? I mean,
the execution of it was just like, come on, man. Like,
really? What about everything since then, though? We had Payback, we won the title the week after, and then, of course, this, obviously this build up now to this thing.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not doing it for me, man. It really isn't. Because to me, Roman is such a good person in real life, and everybody kind of knows this. So for him playing this role is like, come on, dude. Like, he's like, I don't know. It just doesn't seem genuine, even with Paul Heyman there. And I love Paul Heyman. Just doesn't seem genuine. And I hate the fact that, like, just hate the fact that he has the belt. Just hate it. Hate it, hate it, hate it.
Well, he has the belt. Okay. Well, for me, now, so I didn't watch, WWE at the time when Roman, was being forced down by his fucking throat. Back in 2015, 2014, 2016, and I understand, people's dislike for Roman, not so much they don't like him, but more so just the way they were using him.
Yeah.
And I for me, it was always like, well, turn heel, but it was never about that.
And you know what was weird about that push?
What?
Vince McMahon wanted him to push. Then every time he made him fight Brock Lesnar beat him.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, like, what are we doing now?
Wasn't that Mania 31 where Roman was supposed to win the match and then they last minute changed the ending to Brock winning it?
Because the fans were so hating
and Brock
Roman Reigns.
Was pissed also too about that.
Yeah, and the reason why they did it is because fans don't really hate Brock. They hate the fact that he only shows up when he wants to.
Right.
But in the ring, and people kind of like Brock as their bully. Yeah, so do I. I can't wait. And he's only going to come back when there's fans. He's not coming back to fight in front of TV screens.
Right, he's a free agent right now. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, but I don't think he would sign with anywhere else because Vince McMahon lets him do whatever the fuck he wants, and he's like the highest paid on that roster. Right. So I can't see him going anywhere else. Really.
He'll be back. On that said, let's just be clear here. There's no way in hell Roman Reigns would lose this match at all. No way.
No. Yeah, you know what would be really cool if Paul Heyman turned on Roman Reigns and Jey Uso won, but that won't. WWE can't do that.
No, Roman. Let me be clear. Roman will be the champion till WrestleMania next year.
Yeah, he will.
Well, the priority right now for WWE is building up the next guy, and obviously, I think Big E's next guy. And I think what you saw last Friday on SmackDown, him coming back and kind of have that mean streak, attacking the
You see, my whole thing is,
yeah,
I still want the Fiend with the belt. Like, I still think they're just totally misusing the best character on the fucking roster.
Right, but the thing is, he doesn't need it. It's like the Undertaker. He doesn't need it.
It's still though. It's just like I hate the fact that he loses matches. He's lost 2 matches in like 4 or 5 months. That shouldn't happen.
At least it wasn't buried like a payback. At least Roman pinned Braun Strowman, not.
Yeah. It was like one of those kind of things. So it might be Fiend and Roman.
I don't know. I think they're gonna look at a couple of guys. They're gonna look at Matt Riddle. They're gonna look at Big E. They're gonna look at.
I think that Matt Riddle hype is done already.
You think so?
I think that Matt Riddle hype is done already, man. I really do. I think WWE fumbled that. I think WWE fumbled that. I think they fumbled that.
Okay. Sometime in the months to come. But I mean, obviously you got Roman Reigns in his match, right? There's no way he'll lose his match.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. There's no way, Jay. Yes. I mean, I kind of like the fact they're pushing him as a solo just because his brother can't wrestle, and you know, whatever. It is what it is.
Okay. And finally, the WWE Championship on the line between the champ Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton. Once again, another rematch from SummerSlam. I love this Randy Orton heel turn. He's probably been, since.
Yeah, I think him, Bailey, and Zelina Vega have probably been the best things.
Right.
And Drew. I'll give Drew some credit too. Drew's been a pretty good champion.
Oh, I love Drew. It sucks to having him have crowds to really.
Yeah, man. Because his promos are actually really funny, man.
Yes.
You know what it is too? And no homo. if he was doing promos with the girls there, they'd be going insane for this guy. Because he's just. You mean girls in the crowd? Yeah, like girls in the audience, I'm saying. They would be going crazy. He comes out like dressed all nice. He comes out with that accent. Girls would be losing their shit if they were in the audience.
Guy, dude. He's a good looking guy.
He is. And he's cool as all hell, man. He's cool as all hell, Drew McIntyre.
And I think Randy's such a perfect, foe to have. Because Randy is gonna get so much heat. He's gonna get Drew some love, obviously. Yeah. And I mean, Randy's was on a mission. I was convinced, at one point that after he kicked Shawn Michaels in the head that he was going to win the title.
That's what I thought. After Shawn Michaels refused to sell everything, but
yeah. Again, Shawn Michaels likes to oversell for Hogan, but he undersells for.
You know what's funny? People you broke down the video. They said you could tell Shawn Michaels in the middle of it kind of realized he messed up.
Yeah. He got destroyed on the internet though for that shit.
Yeah, he got chewed up for that.
Yeah. What do you do about the Keith Lee thing? The Keith Lee inserts his whole rivalry.
I was never a Keith Lee guy, so I don't really care.
Did you watch NXT at all? Keith Lee?
I actually watch it sparingly. I can say I watched it, and I don't know. I just don't care much for Keith Lee. I don't know. I'm just not into it. Just not into the whole thing. I know he's a big thing, but. And then it's come on, now you got Keith Lee and Big E. You kind of got the same thing. You kind of got these really athletic big guys.
Dude. No, they're different. No, they're different.
Keith Lee's Big E. I prefer a Big E.
Okay, no. I love Big E. I want Big E. I think Big E is the next guy to the moon for this company.
He should be, probably.
Right, but I think Keith Lee, he's all business. You know what I'm saying? He's great on the mic. He's great. He's phenomenal in the ring for a guy his size, especially too. I don't know. Does it feel a little too fast so soon? Maybe, but again, it's the circumstances have dictated a lot of these decisions with booking.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know what the future holds for Keith Lee because there's only 2 championship belts. So heavyweight championship belts, quote unquote. I mean, unless they want to throw him in the intercontinental kind of ranks. But I don't know what you do with Big E really. I thought he was one of those guys that was better suited just to be in NXT, but. Whatever. And not Big E, sorry, Keith Lee.
Yeah.
But in this match though, I'm gonna take Randy every time because I just want to see him win the fucking.
You love Randy, don't you?
I love Randy Orton. Just get the guy one more title run, and not for nothing, let him hold it for even just 2 months and give it back to Drew. I don't even care.
Again, he's one of those guys that doesn't really need a title though. He really
doesn't. But you know what it is? It's almost crazy because he is the biggest, baddest guy in WWE. Really. He's the most lethal, as they call it. And it's he lost to Kofi Kingston. He's going to lose to Drew McIntyre. He lost to Keith Lee, And it's come on. You got to throw him a bone. And it can't be against, Matt Riddle, He has to win a big match. If he's going to be this big threat, he's got to win one of these big matches because he hasn't. And that's where you're kind of losing me with Randy Orton being the biggest badass in the company. You're kind of losing me if he's going to lose again.
Well, I'm gonna go. I think there'd be a lot of Gaga in this match, though. I think there'd be some outside stuff going on. Maybe Keith
Which would be Keith Lee or Retribution.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. And that way, Randy's get buried, Drew keeps his title, and maybe you can extend his rivalry another month or so.
See, I think that's the only way you do this is Retribution interferes, and Randy Orton just kind of tries taking out Retribution by himself.
Yeah.
Because if there's anyone that could do it, it's him.
Now, I don't know if they're going to bring back storylines that from NXT, but, Dominic Dijakovic was actually revealed as one of the guys in Retribution, and him and Keith Lee, were tight.
Him and Keith Lee, they were tight, and they had really good matches together.
Oh, phenomenal matches. Oh, my God.
Yeah. For two big men like that, they had ridiculous matches.
Oh, without question. You should watch one of the takeovers from February. It's amazing. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I forgot which two I've seen. It might have been that one. Actually.
Yeah, so takeover February in Oregon.
Those guys put on a match, so I wouldn't doubt it.
That entire show was great, to be honest. That entire takeover was great. I mean, you got Finn Balor and fucking Adam Cole. Oh, incredible. So there's your preview for Clash of Champions this Sunday.
It's not a bad pay-per-view really for a Clash of Champions.
No, on paper it's not. But I don't see any major things happening within the matches. The only thing I can see happening maybe is somebody comes back, like I mentioned, Charlotte Flair maybe she come back, and I don't know. I don't see,
and maybe the Street Profits lose, maybe.
That's the only thing. I don't see any other major events happening here. I think this is the push storylines over to Monday and then go from there. I think they're going to wait for Survivor Series to really make any major changes.
Yeah, I'm with you. This is one of those pay-per-views that's a setup pay-per-view.
Yeah. But the problem is it's still too far from, especially when you're doing TV every fucking week. It's still too far from Survivor Series.
Yeah.
The big four should be the payoffs more than anything else, not these small little rickety pay-per-views. Hell in the Cell next month. Come on now.
Yeah, so. I wonder who's going to be the big match in Hell in the Cell next month.
Please. Like last year was Fiend and Seth Rollins. Remember that debacle?
Oh yeah, that's right. God.
That was the whole red.
The red lights just didn't turn off.
Yeah. Looking back now, man, I think I can kind of appreciate it now. Looking back a year later,
I didn't mind it, but it was just like, okay, it's weird.
I think my problem is I spent so much time on Twitter that day watching this. I sometimes have to not be on Twitter while I'm watching these matches because Twitter sometimes influences a lot of the shit I say.
Yeah. I'm usually on Twitter when I'm watching it because it's just funny. Like people just say funny shit,
Yes. Wrestling fucking hinges.
Yeah, that's why I do it.
Wrestling fucking hinges. Not even funny.
What happened?
No, wrestling Twitter is so unhinged.
Oh, it is.
It's
like
Beyonce fans.
Freak out. People freak out, man.
It's like Beyonce fans. Seriously.
No, you're right. They're very easily triggered.
Yes.
Yeah, very easily triggered.
Anyway, G, I enjoyed your podcast. Your new podcast, of course. What was it called again? Another Bears pod? Was it
Another Bears podcast?
Another Bears podcast. Yeah.
Another Bears podcast.
Yeah. All right. Your boy Raul's a trip though.
Oh, Raul's great, man. Me and him met on the other one. We came really tight, and he knows his stuff, man. He's a clown, but he knows his stuff.
That's a prodigy again at the end of the show. That's good, man.
Yeah, man. So whatever.
So.
We'll see how long I last on this one, EJ.
We'll see. We do some how long now? 10 years.
We'll see what happens.
All right, man. Enjoy the.
All right, brother. Have a good night.
Take care, buddy. Thank you.